All right, let's just get going. So this is the December 12th, 2025 Crossplane community meeting. Even though I appear to be logged in as the Rook account, but disregard that. This is Crossplane meeting here. So let's hop into catching up together. So we skipped the November meeting together because some of us were at KubeCon and it conflicted with that. So we did not meet during November. So it's been a couple months since we all got to get together here. So definitely some things to catch up on. Let's start first talking about a couple of patch releases that we did. So we did a round of patch releases over the course of a couple of days last week. So 5 patch releases in total. But the high level reasonings for some of these were first, this is probably the biggest impactful one. And why is this not loading? All right. Sweet, first try, Mark. So I don't need your workaround, boy. But yeah, so this is probably the most impactful issue fixed by one of the recent patch releases. When upgrading a provider to a new version, the package manager has to transition the ownership of the CRDs from that package from one revision to the next revision. There was an issue with the reliability of that with the introduction of managed resource definitions, which kind of sit in front of those CRDs. So we did a patch release that fixed, since the 2.0, this has definitely gotten more flaky and less reliable. So we went ahead and fixed a patch release, or did a patch release here to basically convert the operations or the updating of the owner references, et cetera, of CRDs to use server-side apply instead, and it's much more reliable now. I haven't heard too many reports, or any, I don't think any specifically, since the patch release of this issue occurring. So this was very pesky. Sorry for the pain it caused, folks, but we backported it to all the affected versions there. So all the 2.0 versions should be using server-side apply in the package manager for this stuff. So I think it should be much better now. We also did another set of patch releases that fixed a couple of different issues reported by the community. One was for compatibility with running in environments with Istio. I think it was functions that would be deployed there would not be reachable basically if you had Istio. So that was kind of a large surface area of affected people by that one. And then also the claim and XRD controllers, when they would start with their watches for real-time compositions, if that start happened to fail for any reason, it would never retry again. So you basically would have to restart the Crossplane pod to get any of the claim and XRD controllers working. So that had a fairly tough, severity of the impact when that occurred. So we went ahead and patched both of those, and those are all available in all the way back to 1.20. So all supported Crossplane versions have all these fixes here. Yeah, I think those are the main highlights of the patch releases there that we did last week. I think there's a couple of pending like security updates and stuff. I'm flaking right now if there's other reasons for patch releases coming up, but I feel like I just talked to somebody yesterday about a pending PR that was probably going to be patched or backported and patched also. Oh, right. Christopher Haar has a PR open right now that's for when the function pipeline is using function response caching, and also requests extra resources, required resources, and those required resources will basically never make it to the function because we cache the first response and never call it again with the fetched resources. So that seems to be kind of a severe enough issue as well that we'd want to consider backporting and patching that one too. So be on the lookout probably for another patch release with that fix. And if there's any other issues that folks have top of mind that would be good candidates for patching and backporting, let me know. All right. Okay, so we are working towards the next release of Crossplane. So 2.2 is the next release. We've already made a whole bunch of progress that we'll look at on the release board in a minute here. But that on the normal quarterly release cadence, that is scheduled to be early February 2026. We don't have a specific date for that yet. I think the community calendar has it on there. But when we get closer to it and we start getting the release candidates ready and testing, and we're converging on getting all the issues closed, then we'll have a better idea of the date. But right now it's normal schedule of early February. We're about 1 month into the milestone, so about a third of the way through. Holidays will definitely slow a bunch of folks down, so I expect not a ton of progress to be made until we're back into January really. But then we'll, get a lot of stuff fixed, cleaned up, and done and ready for the release then. Let's take a brief look at the release board real quick. I think we've already got a number of issues already fixed in the done column. We have a huge backlog again of PRs that are in review. I think we're doing a better job right now of making progress on those than we had over the past few months or so. But there's definitely reviews are always appreciated by anybody in the community that wants to contribute that way. You don't have to be a maintainer to do a review. If you want to critique a PR and start getting some, contribute in that way and getting some practice with that, please feel free to review. Anyone can review any PR and leave your opinion there. It's always going to be welcome. A couple of big issues as well too that we'll be working on for the kind of the themes of the 2.2 milestone. One of these here is Christopher Har on the call here today. I got to scroll down. I don't think he is. But he's been working on a proposal here and actually has some running code, etc. as well. I think I have a link to it. Let's just link it right here. So if GitHub works. Oh, sweet, works again. There we go. The outage is clearly solved. Yeah, so Chris has worked on this and has something running that people can use already too, about being able to kind of get like customizable arbitrary metrics about Crossplane. That's kind of been a long problem for a while, where there's some internal metrics and things that are built into Crossplane, but then there's all sorts of other potential questions that you might want to answer with metrics on higher level questions that some support has been added for, but it's kind of we can't answer everything like with the built-in things inside the Crossplane and Crossplane runtime. So this is kind of if you're familiar with cube state metrics, this is kind of a similar experience for that. But basically like you kind of more of a query sort of approach where you can, basically define exactly what you want to know about all your Crossplane resources and have those emitted as metrics. So it's pretty interesting stuff. I think that there's community effort here on the design and kind of getting it to where we want it to be, and also maybe potentially collaboration with upstream efforts as well. There's a number of things like the greater Kubernetes community that we might want to coordinate with. So I don't know exactly where that's going to land, but this functionality is highly demanded and super impactful as well. So I do want us to get to a place where people can be using this, pretty soon. So that's something very important in 2.2. Something else too that we have a whole agenda topic on later on. So and Adam will be kind of walking us through what we're doing with Crossplane developer experience and everything we want to do for Crossplane CLI, and a big community effort. The SIG CLI folks have been working really hard on that. We'll talk through that in details later on, but that's definitely a focus that we've had in 2.2 as well. And then a couple other highlights here. I think this is already done, where you can, setting like a deployment runtime config or whatever for package dependencies. That always has been really tricky. If you want to customize your dependencies and how they get installed and run, etc., you basically, had to basically disable the dependencies and then do it kind of manually. So this enables kind of a convergence of like the image config functionality to be able to control more than it already does about how dependencies get installed and configured, etc. So this is Adam, this is closed. This is already merged in, right? You've already got this in main, and this is working.
Yep. Yeah, this is merged. I have it on my to-do list to write some docs for it, but it is merged.
Excellent. Is there a tracking issue for the docs as well, Adam? I feel like there is.
There is. I forget if it's linked. It might be linked from the PR that I merged, but
awesome.
There's a docs issue somewhere.
Cool. And then if you remember, feel free to add it to the 2.2 release board if it's not already there. Excuse me. Cool. And then the last high level thing that I can think of to bring up, sweet, GitHub still going, is there's a bit of a mess right now with the fallout from V2 removing the high level connection details from composite resources. The intent there is to be able to just, you can just compose a secret with the connection details now. That's all well and good, but that's not really documented. And also functionality like function package transform still has a connection details field that you can configure, and it doesn't do anything. So we've got a bit of a mess here that we need to clean up, both through documentation and also fixes and improvements as well. And so I want this to be done in the 2.2 milestone too, because it is causing some pain across the ecosystem. Anything else folks want to bring up for 2.2 specifically? Next big milestone for Crossplane. Anything else on the board or anything?
It's not on the board, but um, I am starting to work on the uh, function rollout stuff again. So there's a design up for review, but it'll probably change a little bit. I've been talking with Nick about this a little bit, so we'll see if it makes 2.2, but fingers crossed.
And Adam, is that related to this issue here, or is that a separate issue?
Yeah, it is. It is related to that one. It, I think it will take a slightly different shape than the original design that we merged because we've come up with something better. But
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
that was part of the original one.
Great. And Bob, you came off mute as well. You got something for 2.2?
Not specifically for 2.2, but I'm just curious. I remember discussion at one point saying that we were going to continue to support 1.20, even though it will be more than 2 releases back. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, good question, Bob. I remember also, actually, I think that was a steering committee meeting I missed. So I know you and Bassam and Brian and Nick talked through it. Let's definitely make sure that we follow up on that to get a plan and get that message and everything too, because I do not remember what the outcome of that was. That's a big thing to follow up on.
Yeah, I suspect other people are still on 1.x like we are. So,
Well, if you guys are on it, Bob, then that makes it a high priority right away.
well, we are moving. We just move very slowly. So, yeah.
I do in life, so I can understand that. I get it. Yeah, okay, sweet. The next steering committee meeting is it's probably it's 2 weeks from now, I think, right, Bob? And that's if I do the math, that's probably not a day we're gonna get together.
You think?
So yeah, let's follow up on that async then. If you want to go ahead and post in the steering committee channel so we remember
Yeah, I'll
that
do that.
while I'm talking through the rest of this stuff, then we'll follow up there.
We'll do.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bob. All right, sweet. So let's go ahead then with 2.2 discussion out of the way. Let's go ahead and start talking about ecosystem updates. A whole bunch of stuff here. I know Erhan is going to talk through some of this stuff. Is Erhan? Oh yeah, Erhan's on the call.
Yeah,
But let me do something real quick, Erhan. I'm going to just talk about a couple of functions, and then you can take the rest of the provider stuff if you don't mind. Sweet. So first, I just wanted to talk real quick about a couple of new functions. So function deletion protection is, or actually, if Steven's on the call, you can talk about this one himself because he is the creator of it, but I don't think he's here. So Steven wrote a function here, function deletion protection, and it's kind of the intent of this is to throw a function into your pipeline and have it automatically like manage usage objects to prevent it from being deleted. Again, as the name indicates, deletion protection. So it's could be an easier way to go about that, and it kind of opens up some interesting doors for like deletion, pre-delete hooks, and like executing operations when a deletion's happening and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about this function, and it's one approach to that kind of stuff, and we'll see what if the community kind of congregates on this one, converges on this one, or if there's other paths that people want to take. But this is definitely an interesting function to consider trying out, giving some feedback, and seeing how the community likes it. So I wanted to call that out. And I also wanted to call out the latest release of function auto ready. In that, excuse me, in that function there, latest release, Tobias added some pretty cool functionality there where with V2, one of the greatest things is that you can compose arbitrary Kubernetes resources. It's not limited to just managed resources and things Crossplane knows about. So now with being able to compose all sorts of different resources, function auto ready is a little bit more useful where, for known Kubernetes API objects, it can, has logic and checks added automatically in there so it can kind of detect the state of those. So if you're composing arbitrary resources and using function ready, you'll be you'll be a beneficiary of this, where it'll detect things that are ready and then do the right things automatically. So I wanted to call that out for folks because that definitely makes this function more useful in a V2 landscape. Cool. I think John, did you want to mention anything about the Crossplane diff? Because you got a new RC out for that too.
I do. There's
Oof.
a bunch of issues that got reported by other folks in the community. So I iterated on a bunch. Um, Probably the most useful thing to the general public is the ignore paths flag, because previously it would just tell you when, the last applied configuration annotation was changing, which is not really a useful thing. Um, so you can now mention what things you don't want it to show. Um, Otherwise, a lot of improvements in support for like nested XRs and like um, nested claims and all kinds of like sort of edge case configurations should be a bunch more robust now than they were.
You look pretty busy in this repo over there, John.
I'm pretty busy in the repo, but also RenovateBot is pretty busy in the repo. Like a lot of those, a lot of that's just Renovate. I just merge them fast. So
Well, I see a lot of functionality too. It looks like Christopher Hart is getting involved over there also. So this is great. And it's just really cool to see like the responsiveness to folks opening issues from testing it out, opening issues, things getting fixed. So I love to see the velocity here, man. This is great, John.
yeah, give me more users, we'll have more use cases and more bugs, and I'll fix those. It'll get
More,
better.
well, there you go. It sounds like that's the solution to not have more bugs is to not have more users. Voila,
It's
voila.
it's like COVID cases. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah,
Uh,
I did it is 0.5 because I forgot that I hadn't released 0.4. So here we are.
roll forward, roll forward.
Mhm.
That's fine. Cool. Alrighty. Now, Irhan, sorry for interrupting you, my friend. You can take the floor now for other ecosystem updates.
Um, uh, Thank you, Jared. No problem at all. So, I'll I won't go over in each of them point by point, but uh, we have released a couple of provider upgrades, doing the regular housekeeping and mostly new resource additions. What I can give as a generic update in here is that there was some request regarding using providers as Go modules in function developments, etc. So the GCP, Azure AD, and AWS Azure providers Go modules are now updated to have V2 paths included so that they play well with the Go mods dependency resolution, and it no longer complains about while making importing them. So that's one generic update. Of course, there are bug fixes and new resource additions. The Apart from that, for provider Kubernetes, we had the release 1.1.0, which also added the V2 namespace MR support and the safe start capability. And yeah, we already have an upcoming release for that. And in that release, we will be promoting the server-side apply feature to beta and enable it by default. So I think this is the way forward with all the Kubernetes world. So this will be uh, not a breaking. There will be a behavior change, of course, but with no user interaction needed. This is planned for the upcoming release. And another discussion we kind of look for feedback is that it comes up time to time regarding the native async reconciliation support. It has some good material for read. Again, I won't go into much details here, but be sure to check out. There's a Google Docs link attached in the comments so that you can weigh in and share your opinions. It's valuable. So this is basically discussing the pros and cons of synchronous and asynchronous reconciliation, and some brainstorming on how to handle better the let's say long running reconciliation events, etc. So that's one of the plans we are planning to tackle. And the next one is that this is like an like early, let's say, heads up. We we are in the process of having a better API lifecycle policy, especially on object MRs. What I'm basically talking about in here is how to handle version upgrades better, and how to ease the conversions, ready-made new solutions for handling API changes, and providing a kind of generic guideline to handle API upgrades, especially in case of breaking changes and API versioning changes. So yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. So handing out back to you, Jared.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for all those updates. And I think those are two pretty impactful investments that are being made. The async reconciliation support, that's kind of been on the back burner for a while. Of the managed reconciler doesn't support async in a true async fashion. So getting to a good place with that, and getting to a conclusion that works for folks will be important. And then obviously more support that we can add for how to handle API breaking API changes and managed resources and conversion webhooks and all that sort of stuff will always be a great investment as well. So thanks for those, and looking forward to folks contributing and adding their opinions on all that effort. Okay, so let's keep moving on. Got a couple of other things to talk through, and then at the end here we've got time reserved to talk about the new cross-view tool, excuse me. So I'm pretty excited about seeing that. Moeed's here to give us a demo and stuff. So really excited about that. So let's keep on moving. Just talking about quickly content. So since the last time we met, the official conclusion of Crossplane and its graduation saga of 18 or 19 months or however long it took, that concluded with a successful outcome. Crossplane is officially and formally a graduated project. So super happy to get to that outcome. And there's a ton of content here for various news sources picking that up and writing stories about it and stuff. So that's pretty awesome to see that. One of the things that I thought was really nice as well is that talking to people in KubeCon in Atlanta, I definitely saw the sentiment that some folks are coming back to reevaluate the project. This kind of stamp from the CNCF that's saying it's mature, and because it's graduated and therefore it's mature. That seems to be landing well with some people, and so some folks are coming to check it out and say, "Oh, cool! I heard Crossplane's graduated. I want to give the project another look, etc." So that's cool that we're seeing some people return, and it's just great. It's like that milestone is very very awesome to reach. So thanks everybody for the contributions that were made and the investments that we've all made together as a community into the project to get it to this milestone. It's nice to finally reach that. So thank you. Just a couple of links for folks. If you were not able to make it to Atlanta, or you can't be in multiple places at one time in Atlanta, there's all the talks from there are posted, published, etc. So you can go to these links here, see all the various talks that we're mentioning Crossplane, check the recordings out, etc. But yeah, KubeCon Atlanta was great. It was a good success. I think that's the trend of like the European ones being a little bit more energy, a little bit more attendees, etc., seem to hold true there. So that definitely makes me look forward to Amsterdam, and anybody that is going to be there that we'll be able to see there. But yeah, it was great meeting with people, getting to talk to people. And Scott, once again, thanks again for doing the lightning talk. That was super awesome. And you did a great job with that. So thanks for talking about Crossplane and for the big audience there, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was fun.
Right on. Do you have nearly as many talks lined up for Amsterdam as you did in Atlanta, dude? Do you know already?
Waiting to hear on co-located events. None at Core KubeCon, but we'll see about
okay.
co-located.
Got it. Cool. Well, best of luck for that. Yeah, sweet. So let's talk about KubeCon Amsterdam real quick, actually. So Sunday is the deadline for the maintainer track, or let's say they call them the project benefits, that is. So a couple of cool things will happen since we're now a graduated project. The kiosk, like in the little booth in the project pavilion, we get to have one for the full time now. Before we're a graduated projects, we just got like afternoon slots, so just a couple hours there. But now we'll be able to have the booth open for the full time. So that is definitely an invitation to folks, since we'll have the full day there. Like community folks are super welcome to come and like work at the booth and hang out at the booth and talk to people at the booth. Like that's end users and adopters of the project being there and talking about like how they're using Crossplane really resonates well with people that are coming and learning about it. So very, very welcome to hang out at the booth and take some hours there or whatever. We would love that. And then also the lightning talk, Jonas is going to do that for us, just like Scott did the one in Atlanta. Jonas is going to do the one in Amsterdam. So we have to finish up getting that submission in, and then I think by Sunday. So I'll finish that today. You'll get your invitation. And thanks a lot for being willing to do it. I think you've got a great story to tell there. So I'm excited that you're picking that up, Jonas. Thank you for doing that.
Glad to be there. Thanks.
Right on. Cool. And then also we are bringing back the Contrib Fest this time. We had done, I don't think we've done a Contrib Fest in maybe a couple years or so, but we want to give that another try. And so we're going to take a little bit of a different spin on it this time too. So the idea here is that we're going to try to treat this like, instead of, people who don't know anything about Crossplane come and learn about it and get involved and start contributing, et cetera. We want to take a little bit more of an approach of more advanced folks, like folks that are kind of already starting to contribute and opening PRs, et cetera. So we're going to kind of treat this as like almost like an office hours where, the maintainer team will be there. Let's talk through open PRs. Let's talk through questions. Like let's have high bandwidth, discussions and collaboration about, features and designs and open PRs, et cetera. So that'll be, we probably want to do that on a more recurring basis and not just rely on KubeCons to do that. But I think that'll be a good usage of our time to get folks, like if we'll already be in the same city together, let's get together and let's have some super high bandwidth discussions to work through some open issues and make progress together. So we'll see how that goes. If it doesn't work well, then, we'll learn a lesson from it, but we're going to give it a try. And hopefully we'll see some of the folks here. So I know lots of people on this call have opened to PRs and contribute directly. So it'd be great to collaborate in person together. All right. Enough out of me then. Adam, do you want to go ahead and get us updated with SIG CLI stuff? And Theo, you did make it today, Theo. So we'll hear from you as well too.
Yeah, thanks. We've been doing lots of meeting and reviewing designs in SIG CLI for the past month or so. So the big thing here is the DevX that sort of originated with the stuff we've built at Upbound, but we are taking upstream and making some improvements along the way. So I think we have pretty good alignment on this design now. If anyone else does want to take a look, please do, and happy to see more eyes on it and more comments. But I think at this point we have it basically ready to merge. I might make some small updates and then get somebody to merge it. And I think we're ready to start moving along with actual implementation of the stuff that's proposed here. So the first step toward that will be separating the CLI out of the Crossplane repo. There's a few technical things to figure out there because we do import some internal crossplane stuff, and some of it's not super easy to detangle, but I'll start working on that right away. And then I think that the next two things that'll probably happen in parallel are implementing the project tooling, so the sort of concept of a development project on disk and the ability to build it into a set of packages. And then also Theo's going to take the lead on the test stuff, and the test commands will be usable outside of the project context, but inside the project context you'll get some additional defaults and goodies. So we'll kind of build it as a layered thing that way. So that's the plan. I think see how this shapes up over the next few months. Definitely hoping that by the next KubeCon we'll have something really cool to demo and be kind of have something real upstream, which will be nice. So yeah, that's kind of where we are now.
Yeah, and there would be a nice little slot in the KubeCon maintainer track talk then, Adam, to kind of show off what's the accomplishments that have been done there and
yeah,
the tangible progress. Cool. Theo, you want to go ahead and talk about your cool project that you've been working on and generously donated as well?
For sure, yes. So I've been working in parallel pretty much on a testing framework that I needed for my job, because there was a solution for unit testing, there was a solution for end-to-end testing. We were missing the middle layer, something that a tool that can be on top of a Crossplane render, so we can have totally local testing, fast but very close to what we have in production. So I developed a testing framework based on Crossplane render mainly. It has some interesting features. It is agnostic to the Crossplane version. I tried it so far with both version 1 and version 2, and it pretty much works fine. It can patch the inputs so that you don't have to submit various XRs, say. For users of V1, I added some features that are missing Crossplane render. So I created a converter for a claim to XR, so you can actually work with your claims directly. You don't have to manually convert them to XR or to get your XR from production. On top of that, after the rendering, it can do Crossplane validate, and it can also do some basic assertions on a custom assertion system that I developed. And the very interesting feature is that it can do chaining between tests. So we can use the outputs of one test as artifacts for the next test. And this allows us to have better emulation of the reconciliation process of Crossplane. So if you use in the first loop no observed resources, and the second one you can use observed resources, and then you have a better populated status of your XR in each step, and you can better emulate your production environment. That's it pretty much. I'm still finishing things up. The last month I was fighting with the paperwork to make it open source. This is done. Now I want to finish some more small things, and during the month I will make a proper release. And next month I can do a proper demo. Meanwhile, I have added extensive documentation, and there is an examples directory, which is pretty much the demo that I will run. So if people want to already experiment with it, feel free, and I'm open to any feedback.
Excellent, Theo. That's amazing, man. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty well fleshed out. I know that it's been, it's gotten some usage, and people seem to like it too. So, this is great. And then also thanks for the collaboration, with SIG-CLI, and how we could take these ideas and, have potentially a unified experience, etc. That's great stuff too.
I believe also it was a great timing to open source both of our projects, so we can get the best of both worlds at the end. And as Adam said, to have something usable in the next months.
Yep, exactly. Cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you, SIG-CLI, for all the efforts here. I mean, this has been great to see the community filling, gaps and needs for how to, better build with Crossplane, better test, and all that sort of stuff. It's incredible to see. The diff tool comes to mind as well. Okay, sweet. Just wanted a note that we're starting from a couple independent sources, get requests and enthusiasm or interest in doing translations for the docs site. So far we've gotten interest for Chinese and Portuguese as well. We don't. It's just at this point it's kind of like an acknowledgement that there's community interest in this. We don't have a great plan yet about how we would be able to keep that maintained over time and have translations for new docs and stuff like that and keep everything fresh. There's a couple other projects amongst the CNCF that have done this. I think OTEL is one of them that had a pretty good approach to this. So there's some lessons we can learn from there. But this is something that we should be considering, and we won't take it lightly. If we don't think the effort will be sustainable, then it's not worth taking on. Because I think it's worse to have stale docs that don't mean anything in other languages than it is to have no docs in other languages, perhaps. So I think it would be cool to make progress on this one, but we'll have to be measured about it. All right. So that's everything then before we can get to the big cross view demo here. So Moed, are you ready to get going there?
Yes. Hello, everyone.
All right, I'll stop sharing and you can share and you can drive, my friend.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I can share the screen. Thanks for having me here. So it's my first time being in this meeting. Yeah, I've been using Crossplane for a while, but I mean, it's very exciting to be among the community meeting here. I can just, Crossview. I am working as a cloud developer at Volvo Cars, and we had a lot of issues with the proper UI for Crossplane. That's why I decided to do something with my prior experience in React. I mean, it's not a lot, but anyway. So Crossview is going to be a UI dashboard for Crossplane, and it's going to be able to deploy out of Kubernetes or inside of Kubernetes anyway. If we sign in here, I have a couple of resources deployed, like example with Crossplane. So here you can, in this sidebar, you can see the context that it gets from the .kubeconfig file. If it's out of the Kubernetes, if not, then it will try to use the service accounts with all of the RBAC stuff configured. And then in the dashboard, you see the number of compositions, claims, or anything that you need to know. And also here we have the list of providers. So here, because this is a personal computer where I don't have a lot of providers installed, but I have just Kubernetes installed here. So if you click on that, then you can see the details of the provider or the related resources, YAML file, the status, and also any relation that it has. So it's using React Flow for rendering these nodes. And if you go to XRDs, then you can see the list of them, or you can just filter them by the groups or search among them. Then any of them has their own information also here, just like other resources. And compositions here also the same thing. With the composite resources, I try to show them like grouped. If the kind is X and Unix, for example, here, then it brings everything in a specific page, or it's if it's X Postgres or something. So when it scans all of the Crossplane resources in your Kubernetes cluster, then it creates these pages automatically. So you won't get lost among lots of resources with different kinds. And then you can also filter by the status. And if you go to the claims, also here you can filter by the namespace or by the kind or the status. And also you can see the list of events here in real time. And with the relation also, you can see a lot of things here. For managed resources, also the same. And seems if you want to scan all the managed resources in a Kubernetes cluster where you have hundreds of namespaces or anything, it will be very, it will take a long time to load everything, just like how Command Plane works. I mean, I read the server-side code, it's pretty much doing the same thing. So I tried to cache it somehow, but then whenever you want, you can just refresh it. But yeah, here also you can see the relations. And yeah, I wanted to see something else also here. But anyway, yeah, you can see all the relations here. And here there is a search button where you'll be redirected to this search bar. But then if you search for something, it tries to search among everything that it can scan in your Kubernetes cluster. Then you can find them here, or you can save the search like Nginx. Then if you come back here, then whenever you click on the search bar, you can see that. And in the setting, you have a pretty small user management page also. If you haven't used any SSO protocol or something to connect to and using the plain database, then you can have it. If you have the admin role, then you can just create new users. And also in the appearance side, you have the dark mode. So if we just log out here, I want to go to the code. So when you want to deploy it, you will provide a configuration file where you can provide some stuff. But then if you want to enable SSO, currently it supports OIDC and SAML. I tried to test it with Keycloak for now. But then if you enable them, then these buttons here will appear. Then it redirects you to any IDP that you have configured. Then you sign in, you come here. But then here, because I'm not the admin, so I'm not able to invite any user or something. So the repository is just let me bring this. The repository is quite fresh, so it's a newborn. It's already pushing the Helm charts, and I had a couple of issues, like 3 of them, but one of them was asking for OCI image support also, and last night I merged it. So now if you want to install it, then you can just install it like this. But then here I want to show also an example of Helm installation. It's going to be installed like that. Then yeah, if we deploy it in Kubernetes, it will be like, yeah, it's opened on another monitor, but it's going to be here. Yeah, it's a fresh install. I can just yeah, here it is. It's a instance that I just installed, and it got the service account and RBAC configuration and everything. So it's in a in cluster context mode. So it scans pretty much the same thing because both instances are pointing to the same cluster. Yep, and also the artifact thing here. I have it published here, so I got these stars. But I have a couple of vulnerabilities that I need to fix. So yep, I'm continuing to work on it. Yep, that's it.
Awesome. This is super cool. I was when you were showing the contexts. So were you saying that you can have multiple contexts and just like
Yes.
flip between them? So you can point it at this cluster and then the other cluster like that.
Yes, exactly. You can just
nice.
switch between different contexts if you want.
Nice. Does it have like local storage requirements as well? Like, is it stateful in the sense that it needs like to be able to store some of its I don't know, users database or something?
Yeah, actually, okay. It's good that you mentioned that because I thought about the scaling of this. Because if you want to deploy it and scale it with different pods, then it needs to have a shared session between the pods, because otherwise they won't see it. So I have the sessions in database, encrypted and all of the stuff. So you can just scale it up and down if you want.
Nice.
Yeah, for the users also. I mean, if you don't configure the SSO part, then you have the users in your database. I mean, it can be connected to external database.
Nice. Other questions from folks?
I do. So my favorite CLI command is beta trace. Do you have or are you contemplating the equivalent? Because I've got some really complex composites, compositions, and I love seeing that tree view of just the state of everything that's involved with that complex composite composition.
What's the question for me?
Do you have the equivalent of beta trace, the Crossplane CLI command?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I haven't thought about that part, but
okay, that's the command I personally use the most by far. Is when I'm going in, I want to see that tree view of just the state of everything that's involved in a fairly complex compositions at times.
Okay, yeah, I got it. But no, not it. But yeah, I can. It would be good if you just open an issue or something so that we can keep track of it.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I kind of thought that it would have that or did have that. I don't know if we saw an example of it, but because you've got these like graphs of related resources, etc. I imagined that a composite resource would then be able to like point to its children, its composed resources there. I thought that's what you had, but maybe I missed it.
I mean, I'm not sure or if this is what you mean, but maybe I can just share it again. I mean, in the composite resources, we have these relations that points to different children. Yeah, I mean, it has a connection with the claim, with the composite resource composition or managed resources or anything else. I mean, this comes from the configuration that we see here. But yeah, I'm not sure if this is what you mean.
Well, that does provide it at one level, but what's really nice about the beta trace is it does the hierarchy. So in theory, maybe you could click on a sub composite and get it and try dive in, but still just that nice overview of the entire hierarchy is what I really like beta trace about.
Yeah, that would be good actually. Yeah, that's true. This is the one level graph, but it's not even clickable. But I mean, yeah, it could be a good idea to have it more deep inside and getting all the levels. Yeah, nice.
But man, this thing's awesome. I want to get it on my clusters.
Great.
It still has a lot to do. I mean, I need to work on it a lot.
Yep. And you're taking contributions in the open source repo, then it sounds like too?
You mean Crossplane repo?
Your repo, that you've open sourced this project here, like pull requests are welcome and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the only one right now who's working on that. I have one of my friends also helping me, but he's contributing rarely. But yeah, I'm pretty alone right now. But I'm trying to get some more contributors.
Right on. It sounds like there's some enthusiasm around here. So yeah, maybe you'll see some PRs being opened by folks from the community too.
Yeah. I also got a request. It was last night to have it on Headlamp also as a plugin. I'm already on it. Maybe it would be good also to provide it as a plugin to a Headlamp.
Cool.
But I have an issue with sharing context between. Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, yeah, well, thank you for taking the time to share it with us and give us a demo and such. I think it's always cool to see like the ecosystem of tools and people wanting to make the experience around Crossplane better. That's great for adopters, great for folks using Crossplane. So thank you for sharing it and walking us through it today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. So that's everything that was on the agenda. We're almost out of time. Any last minute requests to bring anything up before we adjourn? All right, let's go ahead and adjourn it then. Thanks everybody for showing up today. Good to see everybody. And then I guess next time we meet will be in the new year, 2026. So happy holidays for everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.